What is up, you guys? Max back here with another video, and in this video I'm going to be looking at what I think is the best radar for under $300. So let's get right into it. So what I'm talking about is the UNIDEN R3. I got it right here. I'm not sure if it's upside down for you or whatever, but here it is. Here's the box. At least I got the actual device up here. I've had this device for maybe 6 months now, and I have been very impressed by it. So I'll get into the specifics in a second, but yeah, so this is what I'm gonna be talking about today. So this is what the device looks like when it's up. I know it's looking like crazy on camera, that's what they do, but it's kind of cool. It's got up here, actually I'll take it off. You can take it off super easily. You just press a button and then it slides right off. So I'll show you guys. This is basically the mute button. So if there's a signal, you could turn it off. If it's getting annoying, like if you know it's a Walgreens or something like that, or if you see a cop or you're just driving normally, you could just turn it off. Mark to the right there is basically if there's a spot you want to be notified you're at, maybe because you know there's cops there all the time, which I really wouldn't recommend using, because if there is a cop or if someone's using a radar on you, you're gonna know about it regardless of if you put the mark there. So I feel like it's more of just a distraction. But yeah, and then if you want to, like, a lot of times I'll go by the same place every day, and it'll the sound will go off and it will detect radar or some sort of signal. So if you double tap the mute button, it should mute that forever. And then on top here you got the volume down and up to the right. You should keep mine at about 5. It goes up to 6, but really, if you just want to be able to hear it, you could put it at like 3 or something like that. But yeah, and then you got the power button here, and it connects to a cigarette lighter, and then it's got the USB on it too, so that's pretty cool. And then really it just turns on by itself when I turn on the car, and it powers up. It does a little self-test. The UNIDEN R3, I believe all of them do come with GPS, which is cool. And I think that's the reason you're able to mark the locations and things like that. So yeah, this is just a little overview of what the device looks like. And yeah, you just, up here you got your thing that you put it on, and then you just slide it right in. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about why I actually like the radar detector so much. I know I showed you guys the radar and how it works, sorta, and that stuff's really self-explanatory. If you guys actually got that, you'd probably figure that out pretty quickly. And I don't really want to get into too much detail about that, because before I actually bought the radar detector, I saw other videos that basically went into extreme detail on how they actually work, and they would do a much better job than I ever could of explaining that stuff. So I'll leave that to them. But as far as why I actually think it is so good for the money is really my experiences. So I know a lot of people say that a radar detector saves them, 100 times or 200 times, and I don't know if you can really attribute getting saved or not getting a ticket solely because of the radar detector. There it is. But I think it does make you more aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And I mean, it can't hurt. As long as you pay attention to the signals, I feel like it can only help. But at the same time, I feel like it could also hurt you, because you might think that somehow you are protected more than somebody else just because you have that device. It doesn't make it so you can't get a ticket or anything like that. It should just help you know if there's a police officer. I know it's not a police detector, it just says it's a radar detector, but it should help you theoretically. But with my experience, I haven't gotten in any trouble as far as getting pulled over, getting a ticket since I got the radar. And I know I mentioned I've had it for about 6 months now. So I feel like I can attribute most of that, or at least some of that, to the radar detector. And sometimes it does go off and I'm going the speed limit, and the police officer, for example, is on the complete other side of the road, and I would have had no chance of getting pulled over, getting a ticket, because I wasn't doing anything wrong. But there are times where maybe I'm going 5 over the speed limit, 10 over the speed limit, and I'm not even aware of it, and then the radar goes off, the radar detector goes off, and I say like, okay, I'm gonna slow down, and then, a cop is on the right of me or something like that, just waiting to get somebody for speed. And people say 5 over isn't speeding, but they can write you for anything over the speed limit is technically speeding, and they can write you a ticket for that, or that could be a reason they pull you over, or whatever. whatever. So I think it does help in that regard. Most times I'm not going 35 over, 40 over, the thing goes off and I come to a halting stop and then I get myself out of trouble or something like that. That really isn't as common. So it's really more just, hey, I'm going 5 or 6 over. There could be a police officer in my near future. Why don't I just slow down to the speed limit or whatever, just to be safe? And I feel like that's really what it was meant for. And you know, at a certain point, if you are going that fast, I don't even know if it can help you. Also, the other thing is, the UNIDEN R3 does detect lasers. So, and if you actually get caught with laser, it's not like, I think you could be screwed. So I feel like you still want to drive reasonably, just because you have the device on and it makes you aware of a radar or a laser. Especially with the laser, you could already be done for if they actually get you. So I will say that. The other thing is, this is a $300 device, and while that is expensive, it is not necessarily expensive when you compare it to the other devices you could buy for the same and getting the same experience. I know of others that are $400 to $500, $600, even I think the R7 it is, you know, from UNIDEN is, I think, $500. It could be more than that. I think with that you get direction, and that's why it's a little bit more. But I don't think you actually necessarily need that. And for me, sometimes it's fun just trying to figure out where the cop is, if there is a cop, and sometimes it's just K-band and it's Walgreens or whatever. But that leads me into my next point of, yeah, it is expensive, but you're not going to get a whole lot of false alarms, false alerts that you will from, say, a $40 radar detector that you get from the local auto store or something like that. You're not going to get false alerts, and you're not going to get a lot of them. And you can even, I think you could even turn K-band off, because 99% of the time a cop's going to have the K-A band. So you can adjust that. I keep K on just because I know that there have been a few occasions, I'd say like 2 out of 100 occasions, where it's K-band is a cop, and in those cases, you may not have known that if you had turned K off. So that's just what I do. But if you really want to get rid of all the false alarms, you could get rid of that altogether. But I think it's worth it to keep it on. And like I mentioned, you could get a radar detector for $40, $50, $60, $70 or something like that, but it's going to be going off like crazy. It's going to start dinging when you turn your phone on, or a truck comes by, or every drive-through imaginable, or, you know, whatever. So, and you don't want that, because at some point you're just going to stop believing it, and then you're going to get yourself into trouble that way. So overall, it's just been a great device, and I've enjoyed it. I think it's a reasonable price for what it offers. Very rarely, even now, I'll pass a cop that it doesn't go off at, and even then they probably just don't have their device on. So it has saved me, I believe, a few times, and just peace of mind knowing that I'm better off than I was without it. So that's pretty much just my thoughts on it. But anyways, guys, I know I was sort of rambling on there for a little bit. Just wanted to sort of give my opinion on the device. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. If you're wondering about getting it, you certainly have my recommendation. Any questions, leave them down below. And besides that, I'm out. Peace.